Hey everyone, hey Ashwin, welcome for this conversation with you in terms of understanding about your experiences working with Indian national team and also recently your performances in the Indian Arrows when you worked as an analyst with them. So good afternoon to you and welcome for this small session and understanding about your experiences and what we can do upon.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this great opportunity.
Okay.
Happy to share
Uh,
whatever I've gone through with the national team, women's team, Arrows.
All right, perfect. So, Ashwin, so obviously you have you've joined Sports KPI as an analyst, and now you've been, as pretty much a senior analyst and working with an Indian national football team. And typically, you work a lot. You spend a lot of time working with the women's squad. Working with Mimal Ma'am, and then you worked on to work with Thomas Sir. So I think pretty much like 2.5, 3 years you worked with the women's squad, and now I think with the Indian Arrows going to be with the I League with Venki sir and also with the men, the under 19, the national players who tomorrow can become the senior players as well. So, what was your transition or a difference between working with a women's team and a men's team? If you can just give us some lights on that.
Yeah, of course, in senior team, that is the highest platform any women's player can achieve and perform as a footballer, as an individual footballer. So the approach and everything will be different. They are more like towards a kind of professional players. So that is entirely different. And like when it comes to Indian Arrows, there will be more like a age group team, but near to professionals. So it is their approach was also very different from what I've experienced in women's team. So they kind of like very the approach was very aggressive, kind of aggressive towards the game and match preparation and even the training sessions also. Like they all have a like a huge like achieve expectation or the aim towards their career and all. So especially the approach and like match preparation was very different from women's teams.
Okay, perfect. So obviously, the Indian Arrows, it was a great experience for you working in the I League. And can you just take us in as an analyst? Obviously, there are a lot more things which you need to go implement. I mean, we always talk about videos and data and also how to educate the coaches out there. So obviously, for someone to work at that level, you have to first identify the problems in order to solve that particular problems. So how did you go about understanding those problems? Getting a first hang off with your coaches and also because it's pretty much a new team for you, and also just take give us some examples of what was the problems you identified and how did you go
Yeah,
about solving those particular problems.
yeah. First, I will just explain what was the situation actually. So after AFC Women's Cup, I was just joining to Indian Arrows for just 1 week prior to the league. So I was not like following all those players and all, especially in I League. So I have a like uh, only a like little bit of amount of like knowledge about the players and the like game plan or math, how they're playing and all. So I started working with the data first, so I can get an overall view of the team. So I just want to share some of the like
Sure.
graphs or the analysis with you. Actually, this is the 2020 21 season, like the season prior to the last season. So the players were almost the same. 80% of the player has played in 2020 and 21 season also. So I took player level data and team level data. So this is the team level data. So how many like shots where they were facing from the opponents? That is what called arrows opposition.
Okay.
So in like the first, the blue bar, it shows the positional attacks with shots, and the second one, like yellowish, that is counter attack with a shot, and the purple one, it's corner attacks with shot, and the red one, the attacks came from the free kicks, and the last green one is shot came from the throw. So this is the overall picture. So you can see, especially like Indian Arrows was facing so many shots in the league the last season. 2020-21. So we will go to this is only the shots, but we are not considering like what is the percentage, like if 100 positional attacks they were facing and how many shots they were facing. That's we are not considered here. So then in the next slide, we are going to check how many shots they are faced in like in an each of like attacking modes.
Can you go to that?
Yeah, this is the another slide. So here we are taking in percentage conversion rate. So if 100 like positional attack is coming, then how many shots they were like facing. So this is in here you can see that in corners and like free kicks, mainly set pieces, they are considering more shots than the other team in the league.
Okay.
So that was like very alarming situation, like especially as a team of like Indian Arrows, they were not physically very good. So we all know that okay, there are chances to considering goals from the high ball like corners and free kick is very high. So and we were we looked at the video also. So then we could identify that okay, in last year, like in 2020 and 21, Internaros considered 10 goals from the whole set pieces. Like you can see that from corners one and free kicks, corners 5 and free kicks 5.
Okay.
So total 10 goals they were considered. So this was like this weekend after I watched the video. So this is where the integration here, like data and video. So first I go through the video, the data, then I identify the problems, then I check the video, So what exactly the problem? So that is the next step. Then before that, I will go to the next slide where I show the defensive part, like aerial duels 1% and tackles 1%. So it is also showing that okay, in defensive also, like we were a little bit very low than the other teams in the league. So we were not even the league average. These 49 is showing like average aerial duels won per average team in the league. So this tackles 1% showing like average winning percentage of tackle in the I League for last 2020-21 season.
So that means Indian Arrows were in the fourth quadrant of also the below the average of
this is a below
and the aerials one. Okay.
Yeah. So we were not performing that much. So especially that is the one reason for conceding these many goals or these many attacks. So even the attempts of aerial duels won per match and even tackles won per match was a little bit low. Even though tackles won per match is high, but nowadays the coaches and even analysts we are also considering if you are making many like tackles, that means you are already made a mistake. So if a good defenders or if a good defensive unit, they won't make those many like tackles. So if they are already in a good position or they are covered or they are marked the opponent team. So this is also an alarming like alarming situation at the same time.
So that also means that I think I've read a book wherein they speak about if the defenders are not in a great position, that's when they go for tackle, and a lot of tackles were happening for Indian Arrows. That means the positioning was wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we go to the next slide, so we can see that in aerial duels, this is now like a player-wise data. We got and got all the individual players' data in this one. Like especially aerial duels won and aerial duels won per 90. So per 90 minutes, how many aerial duels are these players winning? So if we check at the top right top quadrant, that means these players, whoever comes in the top right corner, they are performing well away than the league average, both in the case of aerial duel winning percentage and won per 90. So you can see only one Indian Arrows player was on the top right quadrant. So that means all the other players were not even near to the league averages. Some of the players are very near, but that is not enough for a like team which is participating or like fighting for a good position in the league. So that was the next one. Okay, we understood that from each and every individual player, we need to get extra effort to go for an aerial duel and go for like uh, attacking the board, while especially while defending. So that is one thing we have noticed, and we gone through the videos also. So we got the proof of these data, like why it's happening, and what we can do next.
Okay.
So, and I'm not going through all the like the slides because it will take so much time, and like it's not that relevant.
Sure.
Actually, this is the exact like presentation which I showed to the coach. So now we'll take to some of the player uh, individual player passing data. So this is the one passing data, like individual passing data, in uh, like it is actually giving you a player's passing accuracy versus successful passes per 90. Like actually in a normal scenario, we won't take this as very seriously because we are not considering even the successful passes are like attacking or like non-attacking passes. But even though some of the players are getting like so many playing time, they couldn't like come up than the league average of successful passes per 90 and even passing accuracy. They were below these league averages. So that is also like a cautious moment. So I checked with the coaches. So the coach was also planning to put some changes in those players and come up with a new solution. So that will show in some other slides, of course.
Okay.
And is there any questions or something, sir?
So how do you go about solving these issues? Obviously you identified those problems with passings or defensive, or also in terms of attacking other shots conceded, which you mentioned about. So how do you go about solving this particular things?
That's actually coming in tactical and coaching side. The coaches will decide like how this player needs to be positioned in the match or what roles he needs to be given. So that's coming into the tactical side and coaching side. So that we will. It's very difficult to describe,
Okay.
and it's like actually depend upon the coach and the team. So it's very difficult to explain more than this.
Okay. Okay. Great. Anything else you want to show in the presentation, or?
Yeah, now we I can show the like what was the difference. Like this is the 2020 and 21 season. So what the changes made after we did all these changes, and after we did so many practice sessions to solve these problem. So what was the like result? So I can show that also.
Yeah, so I think we'll love to see, like obviously you identify the problems in the previous season, and let's look at about how did this season performance came in, depending on
Yeah,
the training sessions and the way the coaches actually work with you in order to do that. So can we see some performances in the current season?
exactly. Yeah, that's okay, right?
Yeah.
So this is a comparison of like season 2020 and 21. So this is the like shots taken. This is the shots taken. Like even in the shots taken also we have improved. We gone through some analysis and we noticed that in last season we were taking less shots even like in the positional attack and corners and counters. We were taking less shot. And if you come in this season like data, we are a little bit better. And I won't say that we had made a lot of changes in terms of like goals or shot, but still it was a little bit good improvement. So I want to take you into the next slide where we are taking the shot conversion rate, that is SC rate. That means like we are dividing the number of goals by number of shots taken by each of these players. So in the like, and now I just want to show like in some scenario, like these data also are like in some kind of tricky. So this you can say like short conversion ratio was almost like 25, and that means almost near to bedroom matches short conversion ratio. But at the same time, is not like covering the XG per shot. That means every shot have a like a particular of quality. there will be some quality of there will be some like quality number we will given for each and every shot. That is called XG. So he couldn't even like cross the league average in XG per shot. So that in that case we can identify that okay, even though he has that SC of shot conversion rate of almost Pedro Manzi, but he couldn't have the XG per shot in uh, in the same level. So this is a little bit tricky. So in this kind of situation, we should be like we should use our other metrics also, like goal per 90 or XG difference, those kind. But I'm just mentioning this. There can be misleading data also, but that we should be aware of this.
So what is
So
how do you define shot conversion rate?
yeah, shot conversion is actually the number of total goals scored divided by total number of shots taken. So then we will get and you should multiply with 100. So we can take it to percentage level. So this is all percentage level. This is like 25, almost 25% of short conversion rate.
So you're saying the
So that
quality of
means
shots taken by Prateek is not that great because the XG is lower, but he has
yeah,
been able to convert a lot of shots into goals.
yeah. That means like even sometimes because of the problem with the defense or the goalkeeper is not good. So in that case also the short conversion ratio can be higher, go higher. So that means like it won't be happening every season, right? Maybe one or two season it can happen. So if you really a good player, then your XG per shot also will be higher. So in that case, we can identify that okay, this player need to like work more on the quality of shot. Don't go with overpower. He should take the shot on the target. He should try to take the shots on the target. Like that kind of analysis or insights we can get. So that's the same thing happened in the 2020 and 21, 22 season. You can see the last season he had 25% of shot conversion, but here he just near to 5%. So this is the inconsistency. So actually, the last time he had some kind of advantage or like advantage from the defense or the opposition goalkeeper, he could have get more goals, but this time it didn't happen. So
Okay.
this is the actual scene, like what he had with the goal, the shot quality and the shot conversion.
Okay.
So but we can see now the shot conversion has the XG per shot has increased. So we were working on that. So that this is the small reflection on the whatever the efforts the coaches and the players are
Okay.
taking on the pitch practice. So we will go to the next slide where we can see the last season's passing accuracy and successful passes per 90 that we have already gone through. So now I'm going to take you to this season data. That means 2021-22. So when we have given more match time to the players who was performing in the last season, so we can see the changes. The players were coming almost near to the like foreign players performance level. So these three players and some other players also we are given like almost way better playing time than the last season. So that same player which were playing way better in the last season, even though they are not getting enough match time. So in this season, after we are given so much of match time or playing time, they were playing better. So this was one analysis or insight we got in the last season, and the coaches also agreed into that. Coaches were but coaches were making some changes,
Okay.
and that effort and like a player dedication are all we can reflect in this particular chart.
Sure.
And of course, some of the like guys who are watching this one and those guys can identify that whichever player has performed well in this season with Indian Arrows. So that is one of insight which gone exactly in the right way.
Okay. Great. Anything else, Ashwin, you want to show?
Yeah, this is actually the short conversion rate which we had in the previous season, like
Correct.
2020 and 21. So we have seen that like
Yeah.
5 goals were considered from corners and free kick. The
Mhm.
total 10 goals. So now in this season we are also like working more on defending, especially in aerial balls like corners and free kicks, especially in the defensive part. So we consider only 2 goals from corners and attacks, and whoever seen our matches like Indiana's matches, they might like remember the goal which we consider against Mohammedans. That is the one corner attack we considered. That was a little bit confusion with the goalkeeper and the defender. But anyway, still we could reduce the number of goals which we were considered from corners and free kicks. That was really like a very good work from uh, the players and the coaches.
Right. So that means you can clearly see that you just consider only one goal from, I mean, 2 goals from set pieces, one from corner and
Yeah,
one from free kick. And it was typically like
exactly.
10 goals. Like from 10, it has come down to just to 2 in this particular
Right,
season.
right,
So more of
right.
defensive work has been taken care in this particular thing as well.
Exactly,
Fantastic.
exactly.
That's really great.
So even in the like percentage of the shot conversion also, these are the like conversion rate from the attacks, like how many shots they were conceding from the various attacking modes. So here you can see in corners we were conceding like 30% of time, like we were conceding a shot
Mhm.
from corner attacks. In like free kick, we reduced to 29. Last season, you can see that it was 45 and 41
Okay.
from a free kick and corner. So now in this season, like short conversion from free kick, we could have reduced. But even though corner, we couldn't reduce the shot coming from the attack, but we were well good in saving those shots from the goal. So that
Right.
was it was a very good performance from our boys, especially in this season.
Right. Fantastic. All right. This sounds good that there's a lot more differences in terms of the way the people have improved, the team has improved from the
Yeah,
previous season, and adding a
yeah, exactly.
value to the analysts in terms of, working on this, and then the coaches in order to understand these things and try to implement in the coaches' training sessions and the matches as well. Right.
Right, right.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, I can close the screen, Ashwin. I can stop.
Yeah, I think like we can take
Okay.
one more thing, like
Sure.
2 more slides, the where we can see the individual performance in terms of aerial duels.
Okay.
So here I already showed that there is a like in 2020 and 21 season there was only one play, but here you can see like more than like almost 3 players were coming on right top quadrant. That means these players are both very well played in aerial duels won percentage. That means they have a good accuracy in aerial duels won, and at the same time, they were very good in aerial duels won per 90. So that means per 90, the aerial duel won was increased from the last season. So we have almost 3 players. So that shows like how much improvement they were made in the defense area.
Okay.
And in last slide, we are just comparing. This is a short story of 2 seasons. In last season, like 2020-21, we played 14 matches and 10 points. We scored like 11 goals, but considered 38 goals. And points per match was like just 0.71. That is not even 1 point. So goals per match was like goals scored per match was like below 1, and considered per match was like more than 2.7. So if you come to this season, it was like very much different like picture. We played more than the last season, like 17 matches, but we were able to manage like 17 points, and goal scored was but still it was 10. But we could have like we didn't consider so many goals. Like it was like only 23 goals from 17 matches. But in the case in the same way, in the last season, like 2020-21, we considered 38 goals from 14 matches. So that was a very big difference. Even per match point also, we at least we managed to get at least 1 point from each and every matches. That was our average. That was also increased. At the same time, goals considered per match also decreased like to half, like almost like 1.35. So
Yes.
this was the like a short story of 2 different seasons.
Perfect. I think it shows that a lot more work has been done on defensively, and where a lot of goals have been considered lesser compared to the last
Yeah,
year's, previous year's performance
exactly.
over there. Great. Hey,
Yeah,
thanks, Ashwin, for this. I think I
yeah.
stopped the part sharing thing. Uh, Great. So I have a question about when you get to work upon this thing. I've got two questions. So
Mhm.
I'm sure most of these players might end up with the Indian squad, the national team. So are we looking at any key players? Would you like to take some names whom you think might potentially go to the top or to get to
Yeah,
beyond like that?
actually, there are a couple of places, but I feel like it is not a right thing to take any names because it will be discouraged to the other players. So, but there are very good players.
So you're seeing people to watch out and watch the Indian
Yeah,
Arrow
exactly.
team and keep
Yeah,
tracking them in order to see who can actually make it to the top level, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
right. So typically, another question comes in. You work with a lot with Thomas Coach, international coach out there. Plus, then here with Venki sir. So, what kind of a difference you see from a two style of play or two concepts of two different coaches? So, anything you want to share about that?
Yeah, actually, in the case of like foreign coaches, they are very much concentrated on the tactical periodization, like the load management in between the two matches, and also that is a very great point of like international coaches, how they were preparing for the matches. And but it comes with the like experience, of course, and they have the luxury of using so many technologies in there, so we were a little bit behind of that. But still, even whenever I go with these data, Venki sir was very open to these data and insights, so it was very helpful. So in that way, it was very like a good kind of atmosphere. I didn't feel that okay, I came from senior team and this is a different team. It was very nice. And in case of tactical way, like uh, I felt like he was also a player. Like Venki sir was a very good player in past years. So he know the the player capability and like how the players can uh, play in the like our weather condition and the ground condition and everything. So that is a other different thing from Indian coaches. And I never seen like there is a huge difference in the case of like knowledge. Like some of the coaches were like even more advanced, or like they were up to date whatever happening in the modern football. So that I've seen. Only in some cases like experience, there is actually comes matters, like experience matters, not like
Right.
there is
Right.
nothing much difference in case of like knowledge and the capabilities.
Cool. So that means more experience, more quality games, and more matches they
Yeah,
play, they get to implement and learn through it. And I think it's great to see
exactly.
that they're able to accept the fact that a lot of data have been used, and they're able to understand and able to use it to go onto the train sessions and matches. I think that's an incredible work, and I'm sure
Yeah,
that the Indian football is growing and become a bit professional in terms of utilizing all this technical, and also people like you who have been made up your career in being an analyst and working with such a good amount of coaches, and can bring some value to them. Anyway, great, Ashwin. Thanks for joining in. We would like to understand more in detail. We'll come up similar kind of stuff, a lot more other analysis and the work you do. Thanks for joining in. Have a good day,
yeah.
Ashwin.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.